Hi, this is Ron from POCculture.com. Margaret, it's such an honor to speak with you. You're an icon and a legend. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. That's so nice.
Of course. I'm such a fan of all you've been doing and all your work. I feel like this film couldn't exist without all the work you've been doing in your whole career, blazing
Oh,
trails. And so, how does it feel on this end to be a part of a project like this?
I love it. I mean, I love Joel, I love Bowen, I love Andrew, I love Conrad. Everybody's so great in the movie. We really laughed making it, but I think it's really meaningful. It's a beautiful romantic comedy, just shot in an incredible way. And I think we deserve that. We deserve like beautiful films about our lives. This is a really meaningful moment.
Absolutely. It really is beautiful and it's fun. And like you said, I feel like we as a community deserve films like this. And I'm curious how you got involved, like how it was pitched to you and what really attracted you to the project.
I really bulldozed my way into the movie. Like I wasn't even asked. Like nobody asked. And I'm like, I'm in this movie. I didn't know if you realized, but I'm actually in this. And they were like, oh, really? And I was like, yes. I walked backwards into the set of the film. Like I really like when I found out that Joel was making this film with Bowen, with Andrew directing, and it was set on Fire Island. I reached out and I'm like, I have to be in this, and I don't care what it is. I'll be a cameo, whatever. That it doesn't matter. And then they realized that they could change the part of Aaron, which had been written for a man, to be a woman, and it didn't really require that much changing. So I was so excited, and I just came on board, and we had the best time. We really laughed and screamed, and you know got a lot of mosquito bites making it, but we enjoyed it so much. I really love them. I think that they're just so talented and special, and I think it's a really shows in the film.
Yeah, I'm glad you bulldozed your way into the film because it seems like you absolutely needed to be in the story. I love your character. Erin is so great because I think, as you've described her, she's like a matriarch, but has her own dysfunction and is trying to help the next generation through their own, journey. And I feel like that's very much like you. And working with Andrew and Joel and Bowen, have you felt that role of kind of working with them and mentoring them?
I mean, I don't know if it's sort of like active mentorship. It's more like work that I've done in the past that sort of gave them this sort of thought of like, oh, wow, there's other Asians doing this. I guess I can do this, which to me is like my greatest achievement, to inspire people like Joel and Bowen to go on and pursue comedy, which I think is really incredible. For me, it's a really gratifying moment, and something that I think is like the best thing that I've ever done.
That's great. I really love, like you said, the whole cast is so funny, including yourself. The chemistry can really be seen on screen. Uh, how did you like working with Andrew as a director, Joel as a writer? Like, what was the dynamic like in terms of the creativity of putting the scenes together and the group dynamic?
Well, Joel did such a great job with the script and also gave us room to play around, and Andrew did as well. And Andrew did such an amazing kind of like the vision of pulling this all together visually, like the idea of kind of painting it a portrait with film, which I think is really special. I think that the majesty of this canopy of trees that you see, you know, Joel and Bowen under is really kind of like an evocative sort of cinematography like moment of like, oh, this is like really showing this grandeur of the natural landscape. But the natural beauty of the frame is these two guys. So I think that's a really special thing. So they all brought so much to making the film, and I can't thank them enough for that.
Looking at your career, of course, you've accomplished so much. Again, I've said you've blazed so many trails. Could you have foreseen, 5, even 10 years ago, a film like this coming out on Hulu and having this platform?
I don't know, but I'm really grateful for it. I think there's still got to be more. This is like a great beginning to what I hope to be a long long sort of like awaited resurgent, or not resurgence, emergence of Asian American filmmaking and storytelling.
Yeah, and speaking of, Asian American voices and LGBTQ plus voices, you've always been an advocate of important issues, but I feel like, especially in recent years, as our collective voices have become more strong, how has that felt for you? I know you were recently on Good Morning America with Joe Coy and speaking on Asian issues. Like, how have you experienced this increased awareness and appreciation for Asian voices?
It's really fantastic, and it's really something that we've been waiting for a long time to do, and it's really important. I think that there needs to be so much more, and it's like we have been invisible for far too long, yet we still are a part of the comedy community, a very big part of the comedy community, but we just need to hear more of us, and I think that's really starting to happen, and I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, definitely. And you've really been at the forefront for that, which I really appreciate. Going to the plot of the film itself, I think it's so interesting because, Fire Island, you imagine it at first blush to be just this safe space, for the characters to go and just be themselves and not have to worry about how society judges them. But I thought it was interesting in this light format, they really do delve into even greater issues of, or I shouldn't say greater, but other issues of class and race and body. How do you feel about like the commentary that the film includes and what you want people to take away from the film?
I think that's one of the best parts of the film, is that it really does address these ideas of bias. Sometimes when you're gay, you can't imagine that you could possibly have discriminated against anybody else because we're so discriminated against. But we still have a lot of problems within our community that remain unseen because we're unwilling to face it. So I think this film does a really great job of looking at that in a way that's really funny, but also really profound. And it's one of the things that I really love the most about this movie.
Yeah, I really feel like as the Asian community, and like the LGBTQ plus communities, there's of course an overlap, but sometimes the issues are come into conflict with one another. Like, what would you like to see the Asian community do better? Like, how can we as a community do better to support the LGBTQ plus community and vice versa?
I think it's really just about kind of letting go of our own biases within our culture, coming from historically homophobic cultures. It's a really important thing to recognize that sometimes we can internalize that. And so it's about sort of looking at all of the things that kind of make us and hold us back.
Yeah, 100%. Now, again, we're dealing with important and serious issues, but again, it was such a fun film. Was there a scene or a moment while filming this film that that stuck out to you and that you really enjoyed?
I really loved, really like just all of it, but I think especially any of the kind of party scenes, whether that's going to tea or their underwear party or all of that. To me, they were just so exciting and alive and really, really special. I love in the underwear party too, there's like no real morality judgment put on the sort of party. Traditionally in film, scenes like that, the sort of like very like decadent scenes are often filled with a kind of like morality, like a judgment around that. But this was just kind of a detail of where they were. And I think that's really important.
That's a great point, and I completely agree. Well, Margaret, thank you so much for all that you do, for the way you use your voice, and I really enjoy your work. So congratulations on this film.
Thank you.